Gauss's Bluff, 140 million years old and worn by weather. Henbury. A cluster of craters shows the projectile broke into pieces just before impact. Out there in the unstable wilderness of space, there's a variety of impactors. Any one of them could be a crater maker. There are asteroids, chunks of rock and metal up to 600 miles across. They form the asteroid belt orbiting between Mars and Jupiter. Smaller and more numerous are comets, muddy ice balls up to 60 miles across. They throw out tails millions of miles long as they near the sun. Comets come from the Oort cloud at the furthest edge of the solar system. Meteors, the fireworks when any small space debris is incinerated on entry into our atmosphere. They've picked up the name shooting stars, but in reality they have nothing to do with stars. Occasionally, a larger fragment of comet or asteroid will skim across the sky as a fireball. Captured on home video, this flaming trail is an invader being counterattacked by the friction of the Earth's atmosphere. The fireball is melted and broken apart by the encounter. But sometimes the breakup is violent. Trees were blown outward by the blast from a fireball explosion 5 miles above the Tunguska River in Russia in 1908. 20 years later, the forest still tells of the day when the sky exploded. Occasionally, our atmospheric armor is pierced. Sikhote-Alin, also in Russia, 1947. A space missile has penetrated Earth's defenses. Lumps up to 1.5 tons are just part of the 70 tons of iron that survived the infernal passage from heaven to Earth. They struck the ground with such force that they lodged 26 feet below the surface. Once landed, these fragments are called meteorites, and some look out of this world. Meteorites have been falling to Earth since Genesis. Metal meteorites may well have been man's first source of iron. Ancient axes, scythes, and spears could all have been fashioned from off-world metal whose origins lay 1 billion miles away. Some may even have become early weapons of war. In ancient Egypt, a pyramid-shaped meteorite placed atop a tall stone pillar may have inspired the pointed design of the Egyptian obelisks, or even the pyramids. The metal meteorites can be fashioned into trinkets and mementos. Meteorite belts and meteorite daggers. Meteorites may be the secret of the Sudbury mine's lode. In Ontario, they're drilling for nickel in what some think is a buried asteroid. Meteorites really may be pennies from heaven. A beautiful shooting star streams across the night sky. In New York State, a 27-pound remnant falls on the trunk of a car. Adversity turns to advantage. $59,000 is offered for the meteorite, and $10,000 for the car. But that's chicken feed. These 3 stones in a New York City auction house may not look like $1 million, but that's a fair estimate of their worth. Just like their origins, meteorite prices can be astronomical. Robert Hutcherson appreciates that the rocks on sale tonight are exceptional.
The three meteorites that are up for auction, they're very different from the bulk of meteorites, and we have evidence, very strong evidence, that they came from the planet Mars. The first one, Chassigny, fell in France in 1815. It's called Chassigny because meteorites are named after places near where they land. The second meteorite fell in northern Nigeria, near a place called Zagami. And the third of the meteorites fell as a shower of stones in Egypt. In one case, the stone was broken up and destroyed. The people didn't like this thing that fell from the sky.
But how can we be sure that these stones are indeed of Martian origin?
NASA landed 2 spacecraft on Mars, and each of them measured the composition of the Mars atmosphere on the way in. And the Zagami meteorite proved to have trapped gases that match the Mars atmosphere.
3 stones that fell to Earth, and that makes them very special for someone like Robert Haig. Dealing in meteorites has won and lost him thousands of dollars. For Haig, this is serious business. Beneath his house is his life's work. His basement is an